Well, hello there.
Well,
Huh,
hello.
here we are again.
Are we?
What fun. Oh, Gary's got a bit of a glitchy connection, so I may have to carry on without him. You okay over there?
I'm seeing myself, but I look kind of glitchy, don't I?
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Um,
Well, while he gets that sorted, I'm going to just say hello. It's Dead Air with Lambert and Gans again, or at least some of Lambert. We're really happy to be with you again. This is part of nugs.net, to attract you to their ongoing services, the streaming service and the archive of live music and all the amazing stuff they have. But we got to do this kind of quickly tonight because of technical reasons. Let me run down the set you just heard. Sugar Magnolia, Deal, Shakedown Street, Ramble on Rose with a special appearance by Wynonna Judd on the vocals. That was fabulous. They Love Each Other, Tennessee Jed, Jack Straw, and Casey Jones. And I think that was an all meat, not a speck of cereal kind of set. Gary appears to have gotten completely frozen over where he is. Oh, now he's moving. Can you hear me at all, Gary? Okay, I'm just going to pretend that he's
I'm
not
hearing
there
you.
because well, you are
I'm
here.
hearing you very glitchily. Maybe you should take me off the screen and let David handle this solo.
We'll deal with that later. Let me just quickly introduce the interview. We pre-recorded an interview with Oteil Burbridge yesterday, and it's a lovely interview. Let's enjoy that. We're not going to be able to do much live chatting here for technical reasons, so let's listen to this interview with Oteil right now.
Okay,
And full
Okay.
screen action.
take two. We are delighted to be doing Dead Air with Lambert and Gans again, and we are especially delighted to have our first guest on this weekend be our good friend Oteil Burbridge. Oteil, hi.
Hello,
Hello.
how you guys doing?
So nice to see you. But before we go any further, I have to know how that record project is going. You were making an album of Jerry ballads, and I'm dying to know.
Really magical. That place in Iceland, Depler Farms, is just another world. You would kind of think, as many times as I've been through Colorado and all these places, like it's just different. Iceland's different. It's very volcanic. There's a t-shirt that's just like all this running lava and it says welcome to Iceland. It's like not what you think, but it was just such a different vibe. And you guys know there's this label called ECM
Yeah,
Records.
sure.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite
And
labels
they've
ever.
had a lot of stuff that I love since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the avenues where I plug into the Grateful Dead. Um, and so this to me is kind of like if I did an ECM record of Grateful Dead music, and we're looking out the window at the snow, and we're 60 kilometers from the Arctic Circle, right on the Arctic Ocean, and there's elves like messing with stuff and food disappearing that we leave.
How did you happen to record in Iceland? How did this happen?
My manager told me about this place called Floki Studios, and a lot of my friends have been going to record there. George Porter had just been there before me, and I think Joe Russo's there right now, or was there right after me, and I've been hearing great things about it. And neither my wife or I have been to Iceland, and all my friends are posting pictures of them under the Aurora Borealis, and you know how much I hate the cold, especially after moving to Florida. And I just thought, I cannot believe I had that much fun in such a cold place. It was
Well, man,
magic, though.
it seems everyone I know who has been there says the same thing. And
Yeah,
Iceland has become this, as you mentioned, the people who've already recorded there, it's become this magnet for musicians. Wilco's doing a residency in a small theater over there, I think next month.
yeah.
And it just seems that magic really seems to rub off on the music. And when you use the phrase an ECM Grateful Dead record, you blew my mind so hard, because that's two converging passions of mine. And I'm now trying to hear it in my head, and I can't wait to hear it in real life, man. I'm so looking forward to this
Yeah,
project. And of course,
what songs did you do, and when is it coming out?
Oh God, now I have to look at all the, because I've been, my brain, actually, this is cool. Oh, Al just sent me another mix, because we're mixing it right now, and it's super exciting. So this changed on the fly. I actually had a different plan, and then I did an interview with Dennis McNally, and I mentioned to him that I didn't have space to do it yet, but I really wanted to do Mission in the Rain because it just really got me, And then he told me this story that Jerry told him once, that he couldn't even play that song if he was feeling too sensitive because it was just too much for him. And I was like, now I gotta do it, geez, So I think I moved out to Lay Me Down or something else. And then I actually was recording. It was something else because I was recording To Lay Me Down, and I could feel it just wasn't going to work. And I've done that song a bunch with my band, but I was cutting all the vocals like super quickly at the end of the session, and I was just like, I don't have as much time to like, and so I just said stop and just went straight to Mission in the Rain, and then I didn't end up having time to do To Lay Me Down. But on the list of what I did get done was Stella Blue, Days Between, Mission in the Rain, High Time, Believe It or Not, So Many Roads, China Doll, and Standing on the Moon.
Oh my God.
And
man, people... at one point I was recording Standing on the Moon, and I like stood upon the mountaintop, walked barefoot in the snow, and I started crying because we were actually doing that, like I was watching Al Evans, he's our producer, he's a drummer for Soul Line. And he had done this Viking ritual, where you go to the sauna. It looks like a little mound of grass with a door in it, which is the sauna part. And then you come outside and there's the cold plunge pool, like outside in this snow, and you go back and forth. And then you walk barefoot in the snow to the mountain and you scream like, ah, as loud. So my wife's got it on videotape. So these lyrics, and looking out the window of the studio at this, like, it looks like we're doing an ECM record, all this snow, and the lyrics just got me. I was like, this is too weird, man.
That's so great. I can't wait to hear this record. Wow.
Yeah. And,
yeah,
your singing of Garcia Hunter ballads with Dead and Company has gotten so much love, and people have really loved what you brought to these songs. And the fact that you're doing some of the ones you've done with the band and also some that you haven't sung is really exciting. Believe It or Not is, a lot of us think it's a underrepresented Grateful Dead song. The band only played it a few times and never properly recorded it. So looking forward to seeing what you're doing with that, man. So
and Days Between too. That's such a great song, such a deep, wonderful song. And I love what Dead and Company does with it, but it'll be really fun to hear how you sing it as well.
Yeah, I basically this album is me sitting at the piano, just messing around. And I've changed things, I've added some things, I've changed something. So it's not people that are just looking for a straight Grateful Dead cover. It's not going to be that, but it's what happened when I sat at the piano just at home, turning it around, and I would change a voicing that would indicate another melody line or give me some thing to solo over. Just like I let it like change. I allowed it to change so that it would have some, I naturally hear my brother Kofi, like the way I think he might voice chords. So I hope people enjoy it. I really think they will. It's that, like I said, it's that ECM version of Grateful Dead filtered through me and Kofi, who turned me on to ECM. Knows right. to begin with.
That's what I'm here for, man. I want to hear you tell the story in your own voice. You know, this is
Yeah,
I'm so psyched to I can't wait to hear what you're doing with these songs. Lovely.
it was pretty emotional, you know what I mean? But my brother passing, my dad, Colonel Bruce, my theology mentor, Jim Barnett, and a host of others, you know, Greg Allman, Butch Trucks, just a line, just boom, boom, boom. And so, you know, someone asked me in an interview, like, how do you get the emotion to sing these sad songs? I was like, well, you know, my brother just died. um, my dad, you know, it was right there at the surface, you know. So, and then being there and being with the people I was with, you know, we had Steve and Johnny Kimmock, we had Tom Guarna and Pete Lavazzoli and Jason Crosby. Man, wait till you hear the violin, aside from the beautiful keyboards that he played. Man, he has this one violin from 1899 that's just like, I can't wait for y'all to hear what we did. Like,
Well,
it's really cool.
Excellent.
I'm really eager to hear it. Now let's get around to Dead and Company, because you're getting back together with your brothers. Well, as we air this, it will be at set break of the first night, but you haven't done that yet. So your anticipation of that must be great. And then, of course, we have what has been announced as the farewell tour this summer. So it's going to be a big year for you guys, and emotional and all of that. So tell us about your feelings about all of this, getting back together for starters.
Oh, I'm psyched, man. I mean, you know, with all that we've been through with the pandemic and all that people are still going through, I mean, I feel like a lot of people are going through a lot of heavy stuff. And, you know, I wrote this down when we got here, because traveling with the kids is not easy at 5 and almost 8. But so, you know, I get short temp, you know, I just went as long as I could, and then I snapped, like, cut it out. You know, I wrote this down, and basically it said, how am I going to celebrate being alive today? Because like no matter how frustrating, you know, there's people going through a lot worse stuff. I was just going through a lot worse stuff, you know, and I'm still processing. You know, my dad died in April. And but we're alive today, right now. I feel good at the moment. My kids feel good at the moment. My wife feels good at the moment. As far as I know, everybody in the band feels great at the moment. Whoever made it here, we all made it here. No planes crashed. So it's time to celebrate. Like, let's do it. We're alive right now, and we're feeling good right now, which means we really should be celebrating. And on top of the fact that, you know, look where we are.
And
like,
the
wow.
great thing is that it's like the other side of the coin. You were just talking about the catharsis you get from singing those sad songs and the emotional songs. The celebration part of it is also part of the medicine, part of the therapy.
For sure. And even that part, like, it helped me process doing so much stuff, because you have to keep moving on. All these pivotal people in my life died, boom, 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 boom. And then, but I've got young kids. You know, I have a wife that I love, she loves me. We need each other's help. Like, life, you know, it's brutal how life just keeps right on rolling after someone dies. Someone fills in their spot, and then we just, you know, it seems like we just keep going, but there's a lot of stuff we're dealing with. So yeah, even the sad stuff, that's all part of it. And hopefully it is cathartic, and it helps us process it and move it, and not just stay there and like build a tumor or make a tumor or something, you know?
Well, this is why one of the magical things about Grateful Dead music, they never shied away from going through the dark passages, and that just made the bright stuff all the more bright, you know? So we do that thing of Death Don't Have No Mercy followed by a big celebratory Turn On Your Love Light. That's what it's been all about for us for decades.
Right.
Yeah. That's why you know, not to always take things back to the album, but since it is all ballads and they're all kind of sad, It's one of those things. It's like the good cry part, and I like that. I think men need to do it more, especially. But yeah, there's always that other side. And then when you can get that out and move it out, you feel the sun on your face more. If you don't get it out, the sun can be on your face and you're just still like this. And that's when we're losing the battle.
Yeah. Well, since we're talking about this pretty deep stuff, just occurring to me, we're diving in pretty deep to this. But speaking of places that maybe know how to respond to sorrow with joy better than any place in the world, it just got announced that Dead and Company are playing Jazz Fest. The lineup got dropped today, and New Orleans is a place that you love so much and is so important in your life. And it was hard getting there the last time you guys were playing there when John got appendicitis, and you had to come back around. And so we had a Dead and Company appearance at Jazz Fest canceled 2 years ago. All of Jazz Fest canceled a couple of years ago. So now you're getting back there. This must mean especially a lot to you, to that town and that celebratory vibe.
I'd always relish the chance to go back there. There's just no place like it. I mean, I probably said on you guys' podcast, like, if you're a music lover and you've never been to New Orleans, like whatever next trip you're doing, just cancel it and go to New Orleans. It's so close. Like you shouldn't miss it. At some point, global warming, it's going to be underwater. It's going to be gone. Like Florida. I'm enjoying Florida like crazy right now because it's going to be gone. I'll be able to tell my kids, hey, you got the last part of it. And there's just nothing like New Orleans. The food, the local culture, the music, the history of America. Like the oldest mafia is from there.
That's right.
The people down there know who killed Kennedy. Like there's it's the one place in America Black people were allowed to keep their drums. So all this music, all this American music is affected deeply because of just that one thing. I mean, it's an intense place. And the families of musicians there, the Nevilles and the Batists and the Marsalises and we can go on and on and on. You gotta go. That's just the spot, man.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the word podcast in there, and that prompts me to ask you about the Comes a Time podcast that you do with Mike Finoia.
Man, we got to plug Comes a Time and my buddy Mike Finoia. It's doing great. We just had our first one of the year come out with Norwood Fisher, the bass player of Fishbone. And man, the stories we got, you know us, like we don't just talk about, you'd think we would have talked about bass and all that stuff. And we saw his surfboards in the back and it just got off on surfing. And then from that, we got into like super deep stuff, how he started working out and helped him beat addiction and snowboarding and anything with a board, skateboarding. And all of a sudden it was like an hour and 40 minutes later. I was like, well, I guess we should do when we come back and talk about bass and music and stuff.
Right.
I had the same experience when I did it with you guys. We just started talking, and the next thing I knew, we'd been at it for more than an hour, and there was no agenda. That's how these things should go, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we did. And the cool part was now after having done what are we on our 120th one or something? I wasn't afraid. I was like, yeah, this will morph into music, and it all is like all related to each other. And it was just a great podcast. We actually I think we split it up into 2 parts. Because after we said bye, he kept talking for a while. The engineer was like, oh, that was great too. I'm going to put it on the Patreon. So go to our Patreon too. There's like extra stuff on there. But it's just so cool, man. I want to have Alfonso Johnson on soon because they just started the Jazz is Dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, the stuff that he did by the time he was 22 is
Right.
ridiculous.
Yeah. If Weather Report was the only thing on his resume, that would be plenty, but he's done so much.
So Santana, George, dude, just like on and on and on. And again, this will probably be a podcast because he's such a thoughtful person. Yeah, we could talk about, oh, here's all the super fame. He played with Bob Weir.
Yeah.
And in fact, I heard him doing Bahama Mama, one of his original tunes with Bob. I was like, oh, wow, my world
Yeah, that was
collided, you know.
the Midnights did that song. That's right.
Yeah, but for someone that has done so much and been through so much in life, and now at his age, you know, he's one of my heroes that I actually can call on the phone. But we probably won't talk a lot about music because it's like, how did you make it through all these other people didn't make it, and all these incredible life lessons, the living history that he had. I mean, sure, of course, music's going to come into it, but I'm really looking forward to that one too. And we're just like, yeah, I'm trying to get some more professional wrestlers on there. I met the Iron Sheik's manager at WWE, so I'm like, oh baby.
Oh man, you know
that Page Pagan, he's awesome.
that kind of conversation, you know, in an interview setting, is the thing that most resembles the music we love most too. You know, you go off on the tangents, and you know, if you get back to talking about the primary gig, that's fine. If you don't, it might be even finer and so much more interesting than asking, you know, are you using flat wound or round wound strings these days, or any of that geek stuff. You know, you can get to the geek stuff and you can dive in deep to it, but being a life geek is so much more interesting, you know.
A life geek, that's it. I love that. I really love that.
That's great. Listen, I hate to say this, but we're 20 minutes into this and we probably have to start winding it down because we don't know how long the break is going to be tonight.
Right.
And I just as soon sit here and BS with you for a while, but I have a feeling we're going to have to wrap it up.
Right. So let's pretend you have to get back on that stage right now, Oteil, even though you've got a day until you really have to get back on stage. We'll create the illusion. But man, so looking forward to. We'll be watching this weekend vicariously on our TVs or our computers or whatever. I wish I had a Mai Tai in my hand or a margarita or something. Maybe I will anyway. But
go ahead.
Have a great time. You know, love to all the guys, and look forward to seeing you in person when we're all seeing each other in person. I think I'll have to be at Jazz Fest this year for sure.
Yeah, man. If you're gonna miss this one, you got to come to Jazz Fest.
Yeah.
And shout out to Maureen Hunter because she is actually painting the album cover for this record.
Oh, wonderful!
Which is going to be on vinyl, so you get a bigger picture of it than if it was on a CD. And fortunately for us, they had cameras in every room of the studio in Iceland. So we sent a live feed to like family, and I sent one to Maureen. So she was painting it while she was listening.
Oh, wonderful!
Great.
Yeah,
fantastic.
She's the sweetest. Yeah. So I'm just it was just so much magic going on, and we're right into playing in the sand. I'm sure if this is set break, it was already great.
That's right.
Thank you so much, man. Oteil. Really great to see you.
See you soon, my friend.
You too. Miss you guys.
Be well.
Bye.
Bless you.
Well, we didn't have to make anything up. It really was a very, very, very interesting first set. Good. Lots of openers, lots of really, really strong tunes. It was really fun. I'm sorry to be sitting here all by myself talking to you between sets because Gary Lambert's connection was faulty and we were not able to reconnect. We will be back on Monday to do this again, and hopefully we will have worked out the glitches, and we very much appreciate your support. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, you should check out all of the stuff that Nugs.net has. Nugs has a whole streaming service now where you can listen to this huge, vast library of material, not just from Dead and Dead-related acts, but from Wilco and Bruce Springsteen and just tons and tons of other acts. And I'm going to toss it back to the stage now. We don't know how soon the band will be back, but it's not much fun to sit here and BS by myself. So I'm going to give it back to the stage. Gary Lambert and I will be back on Monday. Oh, quickly. Oteil wanted us to give a special shout out to Adam Tenenbaum, who played the beautiful spacey guitar sounds all the way from Los Angeles, while Oteil and the team were recording in Iceland. as Oteil said, he was definitely in Iceland in spirit with us. So special thanks from Oteil and all of his people to Adam Tenenbaum for his excellent contribution. And boy, I just can't wait to hear that album from Oteil. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of the show from Playing in the Sand. Gary Lambert and I will be back with Dead Air on Monday.
The people all complain. If you only knew how. Lady finger dipped in moonlight, riding what for across the morning sky. Sunlight splatters, dawn will answer. Darkness shrugs and bids the day goodbye. Several seasons with their treasons, wrapped the babe in scarlet colors on the road. talk about you is one man gathers what another man spills. got to calling it home. Fortune comes cold, calliope woman, spinning that curious sense of your own. Can you answer? Yes, I can. But what would be the answer to the answer, man?